But I'm going to say a question that has two possible answers. So I'm going to say the question with the two possible answers. One of the answers, you'll put your hands on your head if you think that's right. And if the other answers, you'll put your hands on your shoulders. And then I'll tell you the right answer. If you get it wrong, you're going to turn off your video. So everyone does have to start with their video on for the game. But then if you lose and you get one wrong, you turn off your video. And it's going to be, we have 5 questions. So we'll see who gets through 5 questions correctly, and they'll be the winner. And we'll celebrate their college trivia knowledge. So before I get started, does everyone understand the directions?
No, I missed it. Hands on the head.
Hands on the head. One of the questions will say, if you think it's this, put your hands on your head. If you think it's this, put your hands on your shoulders. And then I'll say the right answer. And if you get it wrong, you turn off your video. Now, Nate, you don't want to touch your phone, so don't worry about it. But you can't win anyway. Kayla will be the winner for you. And then it'll be process of elimination. We'll see whose screen's still on after 5 questions. All right, any other questions? All right, we're going to get started. So here we go. First question. Which college is more selective, Harvard or Yale? So if you think it's Harvard, you're going to put your hand on your head. If you think it's Yale, you're going to put your hands on your shoulders. So I'm going to try to make my screen bigger. There we go. So we've got some head, we got some shoulders. Make your decision, Gabe. You're going back and forth. All right, so let's see what the answer is. It's Harvard. So if you said Yale, you got to shut your video off. Oh my gosh, we got a bunch of people with that. All right, just some fun facts. It's only a difference of 1%. So you have 1% easier chance, I guess, of getting into Yale, but that's still very selective colleges. Harvard is the most selective college in the United States. All right, next question. Which SUNY graduates more agricultural majors? So if you think it's Morrisville, put your hand on your head. And if you think it's Cobleskill, put your hands on your shoulders. So
and for Vermont students, SUNY is New York colleges. So which New York college, Morrisville or Cobleskill?
All right. Hands on head for Morrisville, hands on shoulders for Cobleskill, and the answer is Cobleskill. Yay. So if you said Morrisville, you just gotta shut your screen off.
I've actually been to Cobleskill.
It's a beautiful campus. Nice campus. And just in case, oh, hold on. I went too fast, but I just wanted you to see that. So almost twice as many. Interesting. I couldn't find many other SUNYs that actually had agriculture studies, so other than Cornell. So actually, we're going to talk about Cornell next. So which SUNY has an ROTC program? So head if you think it's Ithaca, and shoulders if you think it's Cornell. Andy Bernard went to Cornell. Does anyone watch The Office? You guys know who Andy Bernard is? You need to watch The Office. All right, so head for Ithaca, shoulders for Cornell. Here we go. And it's Cornell. So if you had your hands on your head, just shut your screen off for a second. And just thought it, but you can still do ROTC, which is the Reserve Officer Training Corps, right, Julie?
You got it.
You can still participate. You're just going to have to go to Cornell like once a week, and they bring you there. All right.
The schools are really close to each other.
Yes. All right, here's for Vermont. Which Vermont State College has a film studies major? Film studies major. So head for Castleton and shoulders for NVU Linden. If you have your screen still on, head for Castleton, shoulders for NVU Johnson. All right, here we go. Here's the answer. It's NVU. Oh, lots of screens are going off. All right, we only have a few left. So if you do like film studies, you can minor at Castleton. Just wanted you to know that. So who are we down to? Just Kayla and Gwen, is that right?
Just Gwen.
Oh, we didn't even get through all 5 questions. Gwen's the winner.
And just Gwen.
Nice.
All right, see if you can get this one, Gwen, so you have
All right,
ultimate
okay.
bragging rights.
All right, let's see. All right, last question.
Let's see if Gwen can get it.
So head for business, shoulders for nursing
The most popular college major.
in the United States
Heads
of
for
America.
head for business, shoulders for nursing.
And
You can't touch your nose.
so why don't we, everyone put their screens on, because we know Gwen's the winner, but put your screens on. Let's see what you guys, I'd love to see what you guys think. So head for business, which is kind of funny. She's got a head for business. And shoulders for nursing. All right, here we go. Most popular business in the United States, but nursing is second. So if you wanted to see, there's the spread right there, the top 5 college majors in the United States. Yeah, so there you go. Congratulations, Gwen. If you want to know more, this website has like a list of like the top 30 majors in the United States, which is interesting, plus links to find them. But I'm going to ask a quick question. So like, if you apply to school for like business, nursing, or psychology, or, you know, those top 5, or even biology and engineering, how hard or easy do you think it is to get into those programs at those universities if they're the most popular in the United States? Anybody can open up their microphone and take a guess.
Extremely hard.
Yeah, so they're probably, because they're the most popular major, thank you, Ree, for speaking up, they're probably harder to get into, or, you know, there's just limited space, right? Definitely nursing is usually a very difficult program. I know, like at Castleton and UVM and the SUNYs, because it's very popular. So nice job, everybody.
Jen, I have a quick question though. The 5, so those might be the top 5 majors, but do they correlate to the top 5 jobs?
I don't know about that, but that would be awesome research to do, is to go look over the Bureau of Labor Statistics and see the top 5 jobs in outlooks, right? In the next 5 to 10 years, what are the 5 jobs? I mean,
Right.
to see. But you're right, those are the
Because with-
degrees awarded, right?
Right. Because
So-
psychology, you can do anything. You could go on to medical school with psychology. You could be a lawyer with psychology. Like, just because you have a psych degree doesn't mean you're a psychologist.
That's right. In fact, you're not with just a 4-year degree.
You're not.
In most
right.
states, you can't get a license, right, without a master's.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So anyway, I thought that'd be fun to get us warmed up. So the next thing I wanted to do was talk about your Common App. So some of you have made me an advisor, so thank you. About 8 of you have made me an advisor on your Common App, and the rest of you need to do that. So does anybody need help doing that right now, or actually I'm going to ask you to work with Rachel or Adnan this week. If you can't figure it out by yourself, just check in with them and they can show you how to do it. But it's basically in your Common App, you have to have started the Common App. So that's the first thing. And you have to have added some colleges. So you can't do it just by doing the profile. You have to add at least 1 college, and then you're going to go over to FERPA and recommenders on your college list. And all the way at the bottom, you should be able to see how to add me as an advisor. So check in, just maybe privately message in the chat Adnan or Rachel and say, I need help with this, okay? And then Rachel and Adnan will check the chat. So privately message either Adnan or Rachel, depending on who's your student development coordinator. And I know that they've been helping a lot of students get through the Common App too. At least get it started, answering all those pages and pages and pages of questions. So definitely reach out to them. We put this out there. I only got a handful back, but we have the Castleton College admissions crew who will read your Common App essay, and then they will give you written feedback, and they will also Zoom with you if you want them to. So this is something you can't buy. Like all the rich, people in the world, they can't buy an admissions counselor unless it's on their private time to do this. So you guys are really fortunate that you can have your essays uploaded to tutor.com and get grammatical help. But then once you've done that, I will share that. There's a whole team of folks in the admissions who are waiting to read your essays. So thank you, Gwen and Alan and Montana. I'm trying to look on who else has done that. If I missed your name, Ari, if I missed your name, I'm sorry, but those are the ones that I'm remembering off the top of my head. But everyone else, please, 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 they only can do it to the end of the month because October, even though they're not going out to schools to recruit, their recruiting season starts, like to recruit for college, their college work. So please get it to me before September 30th. And I will have somebody, a professional who does this for a living, say, this was good, this wasn't good, rewrite this, or this was great, or move these paragraphs around. And so a wonderful free service for you guys. Okay, so now let's talk about your list, your college list. So I have to pull up another PowerPoint because I want to talk to you about what should be on, what colleges should be on your list.
Jen, can I add something real quickly?
Yeah, go for it.
So, but with your college essays, Jen bought all of you guys Grammarly subscriptions. Use that. If you haven't activated it, check your CUUB email because you all have Grammarly now. And that's another good app to use for grammar.
And it's the Grammarly Premium, so it's not just going to find spelling. It's gonna, you can set it to like, make sure you're answering the question, make sure the tone is right. It will help you with style. It'll help you with the order of information. I mean, it's just phenomenal. So yes, definitely. Thank you, Rachel, for mentioning that. So of the students who did share, did you want to add on?
Yeah, can you help brainstorming and have started yet? So just let us know instead of help you pick something.
That nod your head thing's not working very well.
Hard to hear me?
Oh, better.
Better?
That's
Okay.
better.
If
So
you
start-
need help getting started, we can also set up a meeting to brainstorm and pick prompts that best fit you as well. Just let us know.
Yes, and I'm happy to do that as well. Plus there is a webinar posted on your Google Classroom class of 2021 where I did meet with a bunch of students back in July, I think, about how to get started. Like how do you attack the Common App essay? Gwen was shaking her head because she was there. So you can always go back and watch that. We spent about an hour just talking about how to attack, how to choose the question and how to brainstorm to start writing. Brainstorm is a great tool. But you can also reach out to Adnan or Rachel as well. That would be fine. All right, so let's, so you should hopefully see my PowerPoint here about what colleges should be on your Common App. So of the students, the 8 or 10 students who have shared with me, some of you only have one college or you only have 2. I want to talk to you about getting some more on there and what types of colleges should be on there, because I think this is really important. So the first kind of grouping of schools that you should put on the Common App are your safety schools. And so when we say safety, it means that you meet all the requirements that the average student meets to get in, so the average admission requirements. It's pretty close to home, so if you have an emergency, you can get home pretty easily. You would be fine attending, so you would be happy to attend. Maybe it's not your dream school, but you could handle it, and you can afford it. So your safety schools, and we'll talk about how many you should have, but your safety schools have to meet all those criteria. And basically, that means that you meet the criteria that 75% or higher of the students who get admitted meet. And that the mission rate generally is 70% or higher. So if they, remember we talked about Harvard, 5%, Yale, 6%, that's how many applicants. So for example, say the candidate pool was 100, of the 100 applications Harvard got, only 5 students would get in. So a safety school means 70 out of 100 would get in. So I'm going to stop sharing real quick. So can anyone, if you feel comfortable, share a couple ideas for what your safety schools might be?
I can share a couple.
Sure.
So I was thinking of SUNY Aniata,
Mhm.
it's like 2 hours away from home. Northern and Sterling is another one.
Okay. And so you've checked the graduation requirements and you know you meet them or exceed them. All right. And you can afford those schools. So say, you know, it came down to it, they gave you an offer, you think you can afford it, those schools pay for them. So that's it. You don't have to tell me, Gwen, but I just want to put that in your mind. It's not just that you can get in there, but you can pay for it. Okay. That's what makes a safety school. It needs to do both those things. Okay. Does anybody else have some ideas on what a safety school might be? Or a type of school that is generally considered a safety school?
My safety school was in Farmington, Maine. It's not too far. It's like right between my brother if I need to get there and my home, and I meet all the requirements for it.
Yeah, and they are, Maine actually funds their higher education institutions. So oftentimes it's not that much more expensive than going to a Vermont school. Yeah. How about, I'm trying to lead a horse to water here. How about a type of college that is often considered a safety school?
Like
Iris.
community college.
Community college, there it is. So a community college should be on your list. Now they are not probably going to be on the Common App. Many of the community colleges have their own application, but what's nice about a community college is you're guaranteed admission, and it's generally there's usually campuses all scattered around the state. There's generally a campus close to all of us. And it's affordable. So definitely put a community college onto your list of safety schools for sure. All right, so let's go back and talk about target schools. So target schools, you basically you meet or exceed their GPA, and your test scores are like between their 25th percentile and 75th. So you're not at the very bottom of the candidate pool, but you're not necessarily at the highest either. So you're pretty sure you'll get in. You have really strong like letters of recommendation. So that kind of a school, that is a target school. And that's basically, like we said, 25th to 75th percentile, you fall within that range. And generally the admissions rate is from 50 to 70%. So thinking about that, and everybody's target school is going to be different. I'm giving you these outlines and these recommendations, but depending upon your GPA and depending upon your SAT scores, if you decide to share them, it's going to be different for everybody. But it's definitely a school that you are like 99% sure you'll get in. So it may not be a slam dunk, but you're pretty well matched. So sometimes it's called a match school too, because your academic record matches what they're looking for. Okay, so that's a target school. So we definitely need some of those on there. All right, let me go back.
So Jen,
now.
we know that August SAT scores are back. Speaking of SATs.
Yes.
So if you took the August SAT, please, please, please email Rachel or Adnan your scores and let us know. Okay.
And what we actually need is the actual score report. So
Right.
yes, you can text them your scores if you want to, but eventually we need a written copy of your score report from the College Board. Thanks,
Yep.
Julie.
Yep.
All right. And then a reach school. So a reach school, you basically meet one area, but or you meet all the areas except maybe one. So this, you guys are in such a unique time, and I mean, in so many ways, but this is the one advantage that you guys have that other college students that came before you and probably coming after you may not have. And that's so many schools are SAT, ACT optional. So this is a really huge advantage for all of you who have taken a rigorous curriculum. You've got a good GPA, but you're a terrible test taker. You don't have to share your test scores. So you can actually bump up your reach list this year, guys, and maybe have a few more reach schools that you normally wouldn't, because even Harvard and Cornell and University of Virginia and North Carolina, like they're all optional this year because the College Board canceled so many tests and ACT canceled so many tests. So, so your reach school, you can kind of get by with having a great GPA, maybe not a great test score, and your essay's really great, and you've got great letters of recommendation. So generally, reach schools have an admissions rate of 30% or lower. So these are the schools that, you know, you may have like a 30 to 50% chance of getting into, but this is the year to take that chance on some of those schools that maybe before were a little out of reach. All right, let me get back here. I didn't mean to stop sharing my screen, but I did. Okay, so the right mix. So this is what we recommend for your mix. So say you're going to apply to 10 schools. 2 of them should be safety, 5 should be target, and 3 should be reach. And because you don't have to pay for any of these college applications, guys, your fees are waived. That you really can apply to as many as you like. I think, you know, trying to think, Sasha, I don't know if you guys remember Sasha when she was a mentor, but I think she applied to like 15 colleges. Erica Mead last year applied to some crazy number, like 17. So go for it, guys. You can apply to as many as you like because you're going to be waived because you got a waiver for your SAT test, so you automatically get that. And if you run out of waivers, because I think they only give you 4 for each test date, we have other waivers that we can give you. We have through other organizations that we belong to. So I would love to see every single one of you have 10 colleges that you apply to. So what do you guys think of that? Any concerns about applying to that many schools? Or are you guys like super excited? So let me just tell you, when it was your parents and your grandparents' time to apply for colleges, we had to handwrite every single application. So first we had to call the institution and talk to a human being and say, would you please mail me your application? I'd like to apply. So that was the first thing we had to do. Then we had to wait in the mail, and it came in the mail, and then you only got 1 copy. So if you're going to write in pen, you had to be really, really careful. I think when I was in high school, they came out with the erasable pen. So that was awesome. So we had to fill each one out and then mail it back to them. So you guys also have the advantage that now on the Common App, you just can check off how many schools you want to apply to. Now, not every college in the country is on the Common App, but many colleges do have are on the Common App. So I think you'll find a lot. Some of the more, again, community colleges might not be on there, and some of the more prestigious schools might not be on the Common App. You'll just have to do those separate applications, but it's a lot easier than what we had. All right, where are we? And then the right timing. So this is the order. So work on your safety first. You want to get those done and out of the way because you want to have those. Those are like your sure things. And you want to get them finished and sent. So you can all apply to a community college. I bet you tonight when we get off the phone, every single one of you could finish a community college application. It's very short. Most don't need an essay. then work on your target, and then work on your reach. So do it in that order. Now, some of who's thinking of doing like early applications, early actions. Okay, so you really need to look at those dates, and those will come up on your Common App when you're getting to those deadlines. But usually it's November 1st, so you're not in a super rush mode, but just keep that in mind. That if you're doing early action, is anyone doing early decision? Anyone thinking about early decision? I don't see any hands up, or you don't know what the difference is, Ree? Okay. Oh, easy. Okay, that's a great. Thank you for saying that, because I bet you're not alone. So early action is you just apply early and you get an answer early, and that's it. Early decision is you apply early, and if you get in, you sign a contract that you will attend. So it's a binding agreement. Now, if they don't give you the financial aid package you need to attend there, you can get out of the contract. But basically, it's like signing a contract. So you should only apply to one school if you're doing early decision, because you can't have a binding contract with two different colleges. So if your schools offer early decision and you want to do that, then it needs to be your number one school. Like, I can't live without this school, and you have to promise to go there. So thank you, Ree, for asking that. All right. So I have put a worksheet on the Google Classroom. If you're a person who likes to have like charts and things to look at, I think this will work. We're gonna cross our fingers. Skip verification. Did it switch for you guys? Are you guys looking at the, no. All right. It switched for me, but it didn't switch for you to the Google Classroom. That's okay.
You're not sharing your screen. There you go.
There it is. Yeah, I had to go out of it and come back in. So right here in your Google Classroom, I've posted today this worksheet. You can print it out. If you've got Adobe like Pro, you can fill it out. It gives you a little explanation of each of those things again. I don't know if it's exactly the same as mine or not. It might be close. And then you put a little information about yourself, and then you start researching the colleges. So this has room for 5. So, if you're going to do 10, just print out 2 copies of this, and then you're going to start researching. So let me show you where you are going to research. So hold on one second. There's a great website for you guys to research. Like, I don't know what the admissions information is for that school. So, hold on. I may have to come back to this.
Most colleges should, if you go on their website, they should have it under admissions. They should have all costs under there.
Yeah, they have costs, but they're not, many do not have the GPA, the average SAT scores, that information. So I'm going to show you in a second. I use Big Futures, and I'm sorry, I was supposed to put that link on there, although now I know it wouldn't have worked anyway. So Big Futures is on College Board. You don't need to sign into College Board account. You just go and if you type Big Future in Google, it'll get you here. So let's see. Somebody give me one of their target schools. So yell it out to me, because I can't see you right now. I have you
Evergreen.
Evergreen, okay. State or Valley?
State.
So in Washington?
Yes.
All right, there it is. Hold on, it's not. All right, so here we are, Evergreen State College. Oh, it looks lovely, Gwen. Tells you a little bit about it. Tells you how many undergraduates, blah, blah, blah. Oh, there's, some financial aid. That's great to know. But we'll look at financial aid as well. But right now we're going to go click on this applying. And you can see some information right here, 98% acceptance rate. So that's definitely probably even a safety school, maybe not even a target school, what other than it's so far away, maybe that's not your safety because it's so far. Sometimes they will tell you, well, they are going to tell you here what classes they want you to take, what they expect minimum. This one doesn't do GPA, but it gives you the class rank. So basically, even people in the 16% of their admissions, last time they updated this, were from the bottom quarter of their high school classes. So this is a very easy university or college to get into. Oh, here's GPA. Awesome. This one does have GPA. So you can see that they accept the bulk of theirs 2.0 up to 3.5. So if you're below a 2.0, they took 3% of the class had a 1 or a below 2.0, but not many. And 2.5 looks like kind of their 2.5 to 3.0 looks like kind of their middle happy ground. So you can go to this website and you can check all your colleges to see what their application requirements are. And then you can also look at average SAT scores as well. Excuse me, I should have brought water. So reading and writing are right in this range. So this is the 25th percentile at the bottom and then 75th percentile at the top. So their SAT scores are actually higher than I would have thought. But here's where their SAT score range. So let's go back and check one more. So somebody else shout out one of their target, or let's say a reach. Somebody shout out a reach to me.
This is a far reach, but Columbia.
Columbia. Okay. That is a reach for most people, yes. So make sure my computer doesn't always like to click on things. There we go. Okay, so you can read about Columbia here. Another beautiful college, middle of New York City. They have great graduation rate, medium sized as well. But let's go look at applying. Now, I will tell you that more selective schools don't always give this information away that easily. So this might be a rabbit hole that we're going down. But here's their kind of minimum requirements for application. Look, 3 years of foreign language. Most of you only need 1 or 2 to graduate, but they're looking for 3 years of the same foreign language. Here's their class rank. So if you're not in the top 10% of your graduating class, it's pretty unlikely you'll get in unless your parents make a couple $1 million donation, right? You know, just that happens. Then they see they don't share their GPA. But you get an idea that they're probably accepting 4.0s and above on a 4.0 scale. So students who took very rigorous curriculum. But let's see if they show their SAT scores. Yep, there's their SAT scores. Darn near perfect. So, because I believe Columbia is test optional this year, Bella, if you don't hit those scores this year, you don't share them, and you just go based off of your GPA and your curriculum and your strong letters of recommendation and your essay that like they pass around and share with everybody because it's so awesome. So they share it with all their colleagues. So if you do that, you have potentially a chance of getting into Columbia. All right, so big futures, guys. There's other websites too, like College Navigator. There's others too. We can point you in that direction, but I like big futures because it's kind of one-stop shopping. You can see the GPA, you can see the SAT scores, you can see the class rank, and gives you good ideas on that. Okay, so I told you about, here I'm going to just share my screen with you because I have a couple more slides. All right. All right, so we talked about that. All right. here we go. This is where you look to make me an advisor. And look who's there. Oh, there she is. So you go into your Common App. This is my email, because you're gonna have to put my name and my email. And then you'll see my name under advisor. Once you do that, you also have to hit enable preview, and you'll have to do a couple things through a couple screens saying, are you sure you really want her to see your Common App? Basically is what they do. Go ahead and do that. You can also invite a parent or guardian. So parents and guardians, if you want to also be able to pop in and see your students' Common App and read their essay and check spelling. I had to do that with my niece the other day. She says she won the silver medal in foreign language at her school, and she spelled it METAL. And I said, yes, that is grammatically, that is spelled correctly, but it's the wrong medal. And so parents and guardians, that's a great way you can assist students, is by going through and just looking for all those little bitty errors. The other errors I see a lot on Common App are not capitalizing things that should be capitalized, and then capitalizing things that shouldn't be capitalized. And I know you might think, well, that's stupid. Why do people care about that? But people my age and, you know, people in admissions counselors, you know, grammar and spelling does matter to them. And, you know, there's the potential that if you have a lot of little mechanical errors like that, they're definitely not going to put you in the consider pile, because they're going to think, wow, you didn't even take the time to check it or to have somebody read it. So, so families definitely do that. No, I don't want to end show. And this is where I told you about, already told you about this, the counselors. So how about questions? Questions about safety, target, reach, or other questions about the Common App, or?
I got asked a question that I'll ask for
Okay.
everybody, because somebody else might have the same question.
Excellent.
I got asked about recommendations and if they should have those already.
Yep, so you should ask between now and maybe beginning of October. So you should ask your teachers between now and October 1st if they would consider writing a letter of recommendation for you. They don't have to have
Is it-
completed by now.
Sorry, is it still 2 teachers and a guidance counselor, or did they change that?
So every college is different on the Common App. So when you look at the Common App, where you're looking at FERPA and recommenders, it's each college has a different page for that, different screen for that, because they have different requirements. Does anybody, and if anybody's using, or their high school's using Naviance, you do not need to put teacher or guidance counselor, because that is automatic. So that's a question for your school counselor. Are you guys using Naviance? Because then you don't have to worry about that. It's automatic. But you can add like an other recommender. So like if you want Julie or me or Rachel or Adnan to write you, we can be an other. Julie says no. But we can be an other recommender, which is kind of on that list below teachers. Definitely. That's a great question. The other thing is, in the old days, we used to have to collect our letters of recommendation. Now, when you go on the Common App, it'll ask you if you want to waive your right to see your letter of recommendation, and I say yes. It's just like getting a closed envelope. It means the teacher's recommendation can be considered as more honest because they know you didn't read it first. So definitely waive your right on the Common App to view your letters of recommendation, and that gives the teachers an opportunity to be honest, and the admissions counselors take it as more honest. So do that. But they also don't have to have their letters submitted, and it's all electronic, and they'll get an email about it until the deadline of your application or slightly after that. Yeah, good questions. All right, more questions.
So I actually have a question. So, you know, the talk right now is November 1st. November 1st is like a normal kind of early application deadline. So why is it important to try for that November 1st deadline? Like, why don't I just wait until February 1st when it's the regular deadline?
I think by doing at least 1 or 2 schools early, you will know before the end of this year whether you've been accepted or you've been most likely, if you're not accepted, you'll get deferred to regular admission. And I think for me when I was a parent, it just helped things be a little less stressful. And I think for the student as well, because you know that you have at least 1 school who says they want you before you go into the holidays, before you sit around the table and grandma says, so did you get accepted to any colleges? You can say, yes, I got into blah, blah, blah. So stop bothering me. and they can move on to why your aunt's still not married. So definitely reduce some stress for yourself and move the conversation to somebody else around the table to have that. So definitely apply to at least 1 or 2 colleges early. Great question.
And if you get deferred, so you don't get in, you get deferred, you do not have to reapply, but you can touch up your application.
Yeah.
So, for example, I know UVM's, just because that's what I happen to know, they have an optional essay. And I do know that there were students that applied to that November 1st and didn't do the optional essay. And they highly recommended that when they deferred them, that they do the optional essay. And I'm putting optional in air quotes because it's really not optional. So when you see something on your side that says, oh, this school would like you to do this, here's an optional thing they want you to do. That really means do it.
Yeah, and this is why
that's an important school.
This is why that's important. So say a college gets 1,000 applications and half of them do the optional essay and half of them don't. The half that don't, those get put aside and they deal with the half that did first. And then if they still have openings, then they start the other pile. So you want to be in the first pile of applications read and considered. So that's why we say optional is not optional. So thank you, Julie, for saying that. And that's the reason behind it. So yes, it may be another 650 words that you have to write, or I've seen shorter ones actually for those optional essays, but those are really important. The most common optional essay question I see is, why do you want to go to blank university? So the important thing there is, if you're using the same answer for multiple colleges, make sure that you don't send Columbia your why I want to attend Princeton essay. So that's a good reason to have me as an advisor and have a parent as an advisor who can look for those little faux pas before you hit submit. All right. Other questions about Common App or any of this?
So Ree's bringing up just this kind of like nuanced part where there are some schools like SUNY Adirondack, and I know CCV, and I think VTC has both options, where they're not on the Common App. So you just go to their website, apply through their application, and you will see very similar things that are in the Common App. They're going to ask you similar questions. They still want that information. There will still be a place to ask for recommenders. There will still be a place to tell them who advise. Like, all that stuff still happens. They just have chosen not to use the Common App as their mode to get your information. But the information is going to be super similar. So you might have to do that for some of your safety schools. You might have to do the Common App plus, maybe it's, but the information, you'll already have that information from the Common App. You're not going to need much more or hardly any information to do their application.
Great. Other questions before I move on to a little bit about financial aid? Yeah, I'm just perusing the chat. I don't know, Julie's saying something, but I can't hear her. Did we answer the
I saw Iris's hand go up, but then come back down again. I thought maybe she was stretching.
No, I cracked my elbow, you know.
Oh, okay. So did we answer the question about, wait, how do I get the recommendation letters into the Common App system? Oh yeah, if they don't accept it. That was what you were answering, right? Because SUNY Adirondack has their own application. Yes. Yeah. So you guys been answering about transferring, right? Does anyone, do I need to say anything more about transferring? Nope. Okay.
Nope, I just told them when the time comes, that's also what we're here for.
Oh, yes.
So when the time comes to transfer, so say that you know you're going to go to SUNY Adirondack for 2 years and then you know you want to transfer, that's another reason to stay in touch with us, because we'll just help you do that transfer as well. It's a different process than applying to school for the first time, but similar at the same time. But we're here to help you through that process too.
They helped me.
Yep. Yep. Can you guys? I got a call today from somebody, class of 2019, ready to come back to Vermont.
It happens.
It does happen. It does, and it's okay. I went to 3 colleges before I graduated, so it happens. Sometimes it's not the straight and narrow, and that's okay. All right. Any other questions before I move on to a little bit of financial aid? And then we'll wind up. I think I can see everybody. Okay. So, I just wanted to kind of give you like a little bit about the timeline so you kind of know what to expect. So one of the reasons why we really push hard with you guys to do applications by November 1st, another reason, is that the next thing that starts happening in November are scholarship applications. And so if you can get all your college applications done by November 1st, you can then focus on just scholarships instead of scholarships and college applications, right? That just can get to be another piece of stress that you don't want. So if you can do but I want you to do well. I don't want you to rush, but it is about a month and a half away or so before November 1st. So you have some time, but at least if you can get most of your applications done by November 1st, you can then kind of transition into scholarship applications. And so scholarship applications, if you're in Vermont, they publish a statewide scholarship handbook, which will be available in your school counselor's office. We also have copies of it, so we can pop it in the mail to you or drop it off at your house if you need us to. That's really handy. But there's all sorts of websites as well that have legitimate websites that you can do some scholarship searches on. So FastWeb and Scholly are 2 reputable ones. Any website that asks for money to search for scholarships for you is not going to be that helpful. Now, Scholly, you can buy a subscription. So families, you could, I think it's for $50. That one is legitimate, but it's a matter of, do you want to spend the $50 to find out about more scholarships? If your student is really motivated to apply to a lot of scholarships, then go for it. But if you don't think your student's going to take the time to write a lot of scholarships, don't pay for the Scholly premium package. But students, I'm going to give a shout out to you now. Last year, out of 30 seniors, 2 people wrote the Upward Bound essay. 2. Now, this is the essay that you probably have the best chance of getting because the candidate pool is tiny. That, or if you go to like West Rutland, where there's only 20 students in your class, right, or Poultney, where you have a better chance. But when that candidate's pool is so small, it's silly not to write the essay. Now, you guys have to complete your on-track financial aid modules. You have to have your 2.5 GPA. You have to keep coming to meetings like this, and you're eligible to write that essay. So don't let that opportunity pass you by. If we get a lot of applications, we'll give out more scholarships. Like we don't want to hold on to this scholarship money. None of us can go on vacation with it, so we want to give it to you guys. So that really, with scholarships, it's another essay or 2 essays or 3 or 4 maybe. But if you get get those, scholarships that are worth $500, $1,000, $2,000. Took you an hour to write the essay. You just made $2,000 for an hour of your work. So the only way to be sure you will not get a scholarship is to not write the essay and not submit it. So definitely.
And if there's one thing that I've learned being in a small town in rural Vermont, your local scholarships in your local community are the most underrepresented pots of money. 1, maybe 2 student applies for your local Rotary, your local Lions Club, your local Kiwanis, your local library, you name it. So pay attention to what's local. It doesn't Wells have like not a fireman, but like
Modern Woodsman.
Modern Woodsman. There's nobody to apply for that, and they want to give out money. Like, look for your local small town important, like groups in your small town that are looking to give away money. Your guidance counselor should know, your town office might know, but just keep your eyes open for those little, and like Daughters of the American Revolution. They give away $1,000, $2,000 every year, and they only have 2 applicants. So keep your eyes and ears open for the small little ones that happen in your town.
Yeah, write this one down. So the Elks Club has they call it the Most Valuable Student Scholarship. That is actually going to be due probably in October. It's the earliest scholarship I've seen out there. And you do it online, but then you print it out and you have to drop it off to your local Elks Club. So whatever the closest Elks, or you don't have to be a member. Nobody has to be a member. But it has to be hand dropped off to your local, whatever the closest Elks Club is to your organization, to where you live. So definitely look for that one, because that one's the soonest one. All the other scholarships will start coming due in January and February. But if you can write and search and write between November and December, you can start submitting in January. And New Yorkers, you have the benefit of the Excelsior Scholarship. That is, if your family of 4 roughly earns under $60,000 a year, you can apply for Excelsior and basically get free tuition at any SUNY. So then you and your family are only paying for your room and board. And if you commute, then you're only paying for a car and some gas, and so. And that scholarship usually doesn't open up till March. So we'll be talking about that later on. Yeah, so that's a little bit about scholarships. So I am going to actually, I was interested in learning about what you guys want to know about financial aid. Like, I constantly walk around making assumptions. Well, of course they want to know about this, or they want to know about that. So I am going to put a survey monkey, because I love surveys, in the chat, and I'll also post it onto Google Classroom as well. But I'd like to just find out from you guys, like, when we start talking about financial aid and having a financial aid kind of meetings, what you want to know more about. So there it is. It's a quick survey. And I'll also post it in the cohort classroom as well. It's sent to only Ree. Sorry, Ree. Only Ree got that. That's too funny. All right. So you guys should all see it in the chat. Also, I've only got a handful of FAFSA appointments made. So I know Gwen and Iris and Kian are set up, maybe a couple others, but the rest of you, you need to call or you need to email me, and we need to set up a time to sit with you and a parent for about an hour to do the FAFSA and your state application. So you can call, you can email, you can say to Rachel, what do I need to do to make that appointment? But a parent needs to be on the appointment, or guardian. Yeah. Whoever's the adult is who's going to sign it. There's information in your Google Classroom, because you all have to get an FSA ID as well. at least one parent or guardian and the student. So definitely go to Google Classroom under the financial aid, because there's a lot of financial aid stuff coming up starting in October. The FAFSA opens October 1st. And the people who are in line first tend to get more money, free money.